So when Facebook says we're live, we're live. So what's up, everyone? Hey, it's Phil Gerbichet coming to you live and in color with the amazing John Ferrara. John knows more about CRMs and social CRMs and the state of sales than just about anybody I know. I mean, he founded GoldMine. Now he's got Nimble, and he's got a ton to share. So I'm not going to waste your time with a big introduction. But John, I am so glad to see you, man.
Phil, it is great to be with you here this morning. I love the power of digital, and I love the power of community. I really think that digital and community helps us to connect at scale. And honestly, I think that's why we're on this planet. We're here to do what you and I are doing right now, is to connect with another or other human beings and listen, learn, find ways to add value. And in the end, all we leave this planet with are the moments we've been truly present and connected to another human being, and ideally blowing some fucking wind in their sails.
Woohoo! Yeah, totally, man. That's the life. I mean, that's real. I totally agree. That is why we're here. And it's so funny that so many think we're here to sell something, or we're here to, do something that we're not here to do. I mean, ultimately, if we don't connect, no value exchanges hands, and maybe money does, but long term, I mean, there's nothing there, man.
Well, in today's society of Kim Kardashian and all this sort of, you got to have more than anybody else in the world, and you got to take a picture of yourself in the most fantastic places. I think we kind of lose touch with the purpose of life. And I believe it sums up to this. It's really simple. We're on this planet to grow our souls by helping other people grow theirs, period. That's it. Yeah. And if you do that every day, if you enter into every connection, every conversation with the intent to learn enough about that other person to find some way to add value, even if you just give them a smile, then you will be happier, because the more you give, the more you get, baby.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's so funny. That's really how Gary Vaynerchuk grew his following, is just by winking at people and giving them a smile, being somebody who's out there. And it's interesting. I mean, a lot of haters on Gary, but I really think Gary's incredible for the fact that he actually gives a crap about everybody that comes across his feed, which is really different than a lot of people. A lot of people, they think, oh, I get to 5,000 or 10,000 followers, I'm too busy for that crap. And I like the way he does that. And John, I like the way that you do that, because frankly, I mean, you run an amazing company. You have a great team, and you're kind of somebody now, man. You've probably been somebody for a long time, but I mean, especially now, Nimble is a force to be reckoned with, man. So how do you do that? How do you make sure that you take time to respond and to engage and to connect with at scale like you have?
Well, it's hard, Phil, because if you do what you and I have been teaching and preaching for some time now, is that you need to stand out from the crowd or you're dead today, right? And the best way to stand out from the crowd is to inspire and educate others about how they might become better, smarter, faster. Don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about your products. And I actually have a formula for that. It's called the 5 E's of life. And what it is you, on a daily basis, educate, enchant, engage, embrace, and empower. What does that mean? You've forgotten more about what you do than most people ever know in their life. Imagine if you gave your knowledge away on a daily basis. Would people operate on themselves? Would people teach themselves how to do marketing and sales by themselves? Most business people are too busy doing whatever it took to get in business, to stay in business, for them to step outside their business and look at their problems and figure out a solution and then implement that solution to get actual value out of it. So there's so much opportunity in the world, but how do you stand out? How do you basically transform from Slick Willy sales to become a trusted advisor, so that when somebody needs your products and services, they not only pick up the phone and they call you, but they drag their friends with them? How do you do that? It's easy. If on a daily basis, you just shared the stuff you're already consuming because you're passionate about whatever you do, and you basically hashtag and attribute the people's names appropriately of the content that you're sharing, it's like dripping digital fishing lures outside in the social river. And what happens is people are hungry. They want to grow and they want to learn, and they're searching every second of the day. And you're digitally reel in those people to engage with them. So it's educate with enchanting content. And then what you need to do most importantly is engage with the intent to empower that person to grow. And that's my 5 E's. And I basically formulated that as I started to swim in the social river, and I saw the immense power of it, how it's going to transform the way we work, play, buy, and sell. And I started to look for a relationship platform that integrated social. All I could find was Hootsuite, which integrated conversations but didn't connect it to contacts. And then I looked for a contact manager that was social, and I saw that contact management was broken because in Gmail, G Suite, and Office, email, contact, and calendar are 3 separate programs. Nobody ever goes to the contact record because it's not linked to email and calendar. It's not linked to social. And so what I said to myself was there's an opportunity here. Then I looked at CRM and saw it wasn't about relationships. It's about reporting. And so I basically came up with the idea of Nimble. And the only way that I was able to build Nimble into a global brand is by the help of people like you, Phil. Because ultimately, I can't access the world at scale, but what I can access is their influencers, people that teach and preach them about how they can grow in and around the promise of my product. And so what I did is I began to share content from influencers in social sales and marketing, and then they started to connect and we built relationships. And now there's, I don't know, thousands of people out there that love our brand. And I think they love the brand because of people like Michaela, people like Jenna, people like Sergey, the real people that are out there connecting that humanize our brand. And what we do is we empower our team members to build their brand, which builds the Nimble brand. And you just rinse and repeat that. And this is no different than what we built at GoldMine. Culture eats strategy. And what you need to do is you need to build a team that loves what they do and loves to go in and do it every day because they see themselves growing and they're helping to grow others. I know. Wow. I went on a rant.
No, I love it though. And no, don't be sorry. I think that's so right on. And something that I want to touch on there is something that a lot of brands actually are concerned about. And that is the fact that you can empower Michaela to build her own brand kind of on top of the Nimble brand, not just underneath it, right? Not like Michaela works at Nimble. I think that's, many times we're so focused on that. Instead, it's Michaela's an awesome human being who also happens to work with you, right? And I think that's different. So aren't you afraid, though, that you're going to get somebody that just runs over that and then takes all your IP and runs away, John?
Well, my job is to transform caterpillars into butterflies. And that not only goes to the team at Nimble, but also our constituency. And most companies think about prospects and customers, and they don't think about their business as a sustainable garden. And so my wife is a sustainable landscape designer and a horticultural therapist and an amazing artist and an amazing strong woman, and I freaking love her. But anyway, she took me out in the garden the other day and showed me a monarch butterfly caterpillar. And I said, what is a monarch butterfly caterpillar doing in our yard? And she said, well, I plant milk thistle to attract the monarch butterfly caterpillar to eat the aphid so I don't have to spray. And I do this across the garden in order to attract the right mix of things that creates this self-sustaining community. And I said to myself, isn't that what we all do personally or professionally? Is we're trying to basically share content to attract the right people. And it's not just prospects and customers. At Nimble, we connect to editors, analysts, bloggers, influencers, third-party developers, investors, advisors, and prospects and customers of all types. And it's not just salespeople that engage with them. Everybody in our company across the entire spectrum are connecting with that constituency. And the whole vision is if you empower your team to build their brand, then that not only connects in a more human way with the constituency, but also helps the company build its brand. And so my job in life is to grow others. I said that from the beginning. And so that goes for Nimble team members, Nimble partners, Nimble customers, and my friends and family.
Yeah. And you do that well. I mean, truly, John, every person at Nimble that I've interacted with, from you all the way to anybody in the organization, has gotten that as well. So that's interesting. How do you hire for that, John? How do you find someone who gives a crap about the community as much as you do?
Well, I'll tell you something. You could go and hire Stanford graduates and Berkeley graduates and blah, blah, blah. And I find that you can get amazing people who don't go to the school. And so anybody listening out there today, if you went to one of the schools, I'm proud of you. You know, you did things in life from the beginning that put you in a situation that enabled you to succeed in an unbelievable way. But the masses don't get there. And so I believe that there's opportunity in the I'm not going to say ordinary, but in the rest of us, because I'm an ordinary person. Phil, when I was 16 years old, I had hair down to here, and I wore Birkenstocks, and I went to Dead concerts. So you can imagine what my life was like. It was fun, but I didn't do the A through F requirements to get into the school. So I had to go to Pierce College, a community college in my area, and do the things I didn't do in high school. And then I had to transfer to a state school, and I'd study computer science, but I didn't go on the path. But I think that there's a group of humanity out there that wants to grow and learn. And if you look for people that are intelligent, that want to grow and learn, that are a good cultural fit into your organization, that you can find magic in the world. And every time I shop, I prospect people. So when I go to the Apple store, when I go to Best Buy, if I did go to Victoria's Secret, in fact, we've hired staff from Victoria's Secret, but I didn't happen to be going in there, but they came to us. But this is what I look for. I love to hire hairdressers. I love to hire people who are engaging with people at scale, and they already know how to do that. We could teach you business and technology, but we can't make you an amazing human being. So I look for a heart and a soul and a mind first, and then everything else comes after.
Wow. That's so awesome. You hire for the heart and soul first. So interesting that so many organizations don't get that. They're looking for a punch list to get through the applicant tracking system so that somehow they can get the perfect Frankenstein of people, when in reality, to your point, so much can be learned now. So much can be trained. So much can be injected, but a heart and a soul, I mean, that's impossible to train. That's impossible to be someone who you're not, because eventually that stuff shines through. If you don't like people, holy crap, man, you're going to hurt.
And another tip for any business owner out there, I love to hire liberal art majors. Why? Well, you could hire business majors, you could hire engineering majors, but they don't know how to read, write, research, and communicate as effectively as a liberal arts major. A liberal arts major absolutely knows how to figure things out, summarize it, and write stuff that's understandable. And communication is it today. If you can't communicate effectively, both in written and spoken word, you're dead. And so liberal art majors not only are already trained to do what is most necessary in business, is research, writing, and communications, but they are affordable people. Because the engineering grads, they start at 80, 100, whatever the number is. Liberal art majors, you can get for a more affordable rate. And so as a business owner, you get a double whammy. You could build a team at scale in a more affordable way, but then you can grow them. And when you grow people and increase their value to themselves, that creates a culture in your organization that's unstoppable.
Wow. Awesome. So you just heard all John's secrets there on hiring, folks. And we're just going to talk about sales. So John, let's move to sales, man. Let's talk about that, because, with GoldMine, that was years ago, and now with Nimble. So how was sales and how is it now, John? Is it any different than it's ever been?
The more things change, the more they stay the same. If you think about it, people buy from people they like, know, and trust. That hasn't changed. And so the wisdom of Zig Ziglar, Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Brian Tracy are all still with us. And so the fact that we can use social media as a mechanism to better understand who somebody is, what their business is about, and what we might share in common, what I call the 5 F's of life: family, friend, food, fun, and fellowship. These are the softer things of life that help you to earn intimacy and trust, which you need in order to get somebody to open up to you about their business issues, which as a professional, you can then solve In the old days, I did that by going in somebody's office and looking at their walls, looking at the books they read, the degree of the school they went to, the knickknacks they collect. All of these things were clues of how I might open the door, break the ice, so to speak, and start that business conversation. But if you think about it, you don't stay in the business mode. You don't start in the business mode, and you don't stay in the business mode. Phil, when was the last time you started a conversation where they said, did you sign the contract? First words? No. They said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's the weather? How about them Dodgers? What do you think about LeBron? Whatever it is, right? And then you get to the business. But here's a cycle of a relationship that started with me recently. So somebody on Twitter was talking about me, and I didn't know who they were. And I wouldn't have known it if not for Nimble, which listens to my business signals, interactions on email, calendar, and social, and then enriches that signal, that blank person, with people and company information, matches it to the DNA of people that I should be connecting with, and surfaces that person and says, John, you might want to take a look at this. So then I took a look at it, and I saw that this person was talking to Tiffany Bova, who is used to be the head of CRM analyst at Gartner. Now she's a mouthpiece for Salesforce. And she was saying that CRM isn't about command and control. It's about empowering customer-facing business team members to engage effectively. And some guy said, bullshit. It is about command and control. And when a sales manager is going to loosen the grip. And isn't this what John Ferrara has been teaching and preaching for all of his life and building with Nimble? And so I said, well, who is this guy? So I nimbled him right there in the Twitter stream, because we have a plugin in Chrome. And it basically automatically built this record that said, this is the head of CRM and data at Disney. So because of the way he talked about me, I was able to more effectively connect with him in Twitter and respond effectively because I had context and insights. But then Nimble gave me his email, because we have Prospector that basically gives you the contact info. And he gave me permission for me to email him, because of the way he talked so intimately about me. And that relationship started in Twitter, shifted to email, shifted to a LinkedIn invite, to a LinkedIn messaging. And Nimble followed me in my inbox, in LinkedIn, in the LinkedIn messages. And the conversation in LinkedIn, I found out that he not only lived in my city, but our daughters went to the same school. And I believe the more digital we get, the more human we need to be. And I took that relationship to face-to-face and invited him to breakfast. At which point I asked him a few questions, and I just shut up and I listened. And he talked for 30 minutes. And I learned so much about him. And he loved me because I let him talk. People love it when you let them talk. And then he became not only a friend, where he's an advocate online about Nimble, but now we're doing business with Disney. And this is an example about how you need to take relationships from the soft connection to a firm connection, but you don't stay in LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's like going to my business lobby. You want to know about John Ferrara, look me up on Instagram. You're going to learn more about me in 5 seconds than you will in 5 minutes in my LinkedIn. And so you need to move beyond the business lobby with relationships to the commonalities of the 5 Fs, those softer things, because that's how you stay connected with people over time. The problem is our business tools aren't designed for that. CRM is designed for pipeline management and tracking how many calls you did. And LinkedIn is basically designed so you create more LinkedIn connections. But life isn't about LinkedIn connections. It's about real, honest, heart-to-heart connections where you've taken time to add value to that person so that you stay top of mind with them, not only as a business connection, but as a soulmate in life.
Wow. That's so powerful, and such a great reminder to pay attention, right? Use a tool like Nimble so that you can get in there. And really, just spoiler alert, folks, there's no tool like Nimble. And I'm not saying that. John doesn't pay me to say that. That's the truth. If you look at Nimble, nothing like it out there can take those business lobby connections and bring them into your living room, bring them into your heart, so you can actually really connect with people. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, John, but I've got enough work. I'm looking for more people that actually like to work with instead of just more work.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think that your network is your net worth. Your personal brand plus your professional network will help you achieve your passion, plan, and purpose in life, which I hope is centered on serving others. Service is the new sales. We're here on this planet to serve others. The more people you can outgrow, the more you'll grow. But if you do what we teach and preach, is to share content to inspire and educate others on a daily basis, and then engage effectively, you're going to get so over-connected and over-communicated that you're going to struggle in life. And I'm going to show you a struggle that I struggle with on a daily basis. Can you see the number on my email?
Holy crap. You got, hold on, folks, if you're just listening, 372,451 emails in John's inbox. Come on, John, that's just unread.
It's unread. That's unread. And so if you are on a daily basis dripping digital love, lures about how you might help others, and it's not just about the business issues, because I think if your persona is just business, and I go to people's Instagrams where it's all about these banners about, business shit, all you're going to get is the business persona. But you know what? A chair has at least 3 legs. Some have more. And people's personalities, you need to see across the entire spectrum. And so you need to, in life, share your heart and soul, roll up your sleeve, open up your shirt, and bare your heart and soul to people, which means sharing not just business stuff, but your personal passions as well, which enables people to more effectively connect with you. But if you do these things, you're going to get so over-connected, over-communicated, you can't manage it anymore. There's a Dunbar limit. You could only manage 100 or so people in your head at one time. Most people's networks are in the thousands, and your network isn't in one place. Most people have at least a Gmail account, but some people have iCloud and an IMAP and also maybe Office 365. And that's just your email, contact, and calendar. Then what you have is Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Foursquare, Google+, Crunchbase, and Snapchat. And then you have some business apps, sales, marketing, customer service, accounting. So you might have MailChimp connected to your website, or HubSpot, or whatever you have. And then you might have some simple CRM. You might have whatever CRM. And then you might have QuickBooks or some accounting system. And I'm not going to get into the plethora of sales intelligence and sales enablement tools that you need, like LinkedIn Sales Navigator or Inside View, or some outreach programs like SalesLoft or Outreach.io or whatever. But the amount of things that you have and use to be able to manage and connect at scale is overwhelming. And what I believe individuals and businesses need is a layer on top of that, much like Mint did for finance. So that is what Nimble has evolved into, is a dashboard into an individual or to company's most important assets, its connections, its contacts. And we automatically build what's missing in Office 365 and G Suite, which is a universal contact platform for the entire company, because every contact inside of your Gmail, G Suite, or Office is a separate contact database. So there isn't one system of record of relationships for the business. And then you have contacts in MailChimp and QuickBooks and in Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We unify all of them, including over 100 SaaS business apps, into a
John, I think I lost your audio. Can you click to see if you have audio there, buddy? I'm not hearing you. I can't hear you either. Hold on. Let's play here. Let's see what the heck is going on. Sometimes audio does weird stuff here. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Interesting. So, well, we're almost at the top here. So, John, if you play with your audio, maybe you'll come back. I hope so. If not, hopefully people hear me speaking here, and hopefully they heard what the great stuff that you had to say there, John. So much stuff. Nimble.com, for those of you who are wondering what the heck is this thing connecting to many SaaS sales apps, Nimble.com is the right answer. Hopefully John is coming back here. We get him here. John, are you there? Can you hear me? Nothing. Okay. So the sound went out. Crap. Okay. Well, I guess that means we kind of wrap it here. But John, it was a pleasure. Hopefully, folks, you got value out of the first 27 minutes. Sometimes Facebook Live does crazy stuff. So for those of you scoring home, Nimble.com is the website. John Ferrara was my guest today. Hopefully you got value. Like I said, check out Nimble. It's a great tool. We'll add some more links afterwards. Sorry that crapped out, but hope you have a great day and happy connecting.